Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick update, and I promise this one will be quick, on the Lenovo C940 late 2019 refresh. Now, it's been a while since I've published a video about this machine, and that's why I'm checking back in before I do my full review. For those of you that are wondering what has changed, what is the same, I'm going to give you that update right now. So first and foremost, this is a $1,750 retail build from Best Buy, 512 gig NVMe drive, Intel 10th gen 1065 G7. That's a Core i7 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and no Windows Hello at the webcam. You do have a kill switch for privacy up at the top. Best in class audio performance, a beautiful 14-inch 4K display that is outside of the HP Spectre, the Dell XPS line, one of the slimmest bezels you're going to find. So a modern looking machine. It looks a lot like the previous gen, the 930, but I can assure you the 940 outperforms it heartily. And you will find this on sale. I believe Best Buy right now is selling it for, I think they dropped it down to $1,600. So keep your eyes open. The sale prices come and go. And one thing I will tell you, and I've said this throughout, this 2-in-1 is one of the best on the market. I do have some personal preference towards the HP, but I went through quality control hell with that machine. Here, this is the first, the only machine. There have been no replacements, no quality control issues. So if QC is something you're worried about, my experience has been better with the Lenovo C940 than, of course, the HP Spectre X360 13T. But this machine is still not the machine I've personally picked. It's not going back. That's the good news. I have a family member that is in the market for a new laptop. They know, they've seen my coverage of it. They know what I feel about it personally, and they decided to take the machine, which I'm happy. I'm happy to see it go to a good home. Of course, I will be doing my full review before it makes that trip. It has to get packed up and shipped, but the C940 is, in my opinion, if you're okay with its form factor, which I do find it to be very large for an Ultrabook. Its weight is not very high, 3 pounds, but the form factor is literally putting it into the same class as 15-inch desktop replacements, which means that whatever bag, whatever sleeve you get, that's the category you're going to be in. Nice spam on the build here. Let's get rid of it. I'm just going to accept the risk, what BS that is. But again, this machine does exactly what it promises to do, which is be one of the best 2-in-1s out there. I can't really comment on the 15-inch version. Didn't pick it up. It is a more powerful build, but from what I've seen, at least on the spec sheet and in store, I've looked at it, its Achilles is that it has the exact same battery size as this, which means you've got a bigger display driving the same number of pixels, but a bigger display driving more brightness. Well, not more brightness, but it's more of a power suck than the 14 inherently, physically, and not as efficient a processor under the hood of that machine. And then if you get the GPU option, well, I don't need to tell you, battery life kind of sucks. So and when I say sucks, that's subjective, of course, right? I mean, some people need the battery life this can yield, which is between 6 and 8 hours. And then other people are okay with getting 3. I mean, I'm not one of those people. You probably aren't one of those people, but they exist, right? Pen performance on this is very good. I love that it's docked back here on the quote-unquote garage, but I do not love that the pen is, one of these. It's Wacom. That's great, but the fact that it just reminds me of a stylus from 15 years ago. So if that's not an issue for you, it won't be an issue for you. But as much as I love that it's docked, I don't love the actual pen itself. But the performance, the overall experience inking on this has been very good. I would say nearly best in class. So that is something this machine absolutely has going for it. And you could use another pen of personal preference, but that would defeat the purpose of having the convenience of it being docked. I do not use the Fingerprint Scanner. I'm more of a Windows Hello fellow. But as I said, it's not here. I have tested this though, and it works perfectly fine. I just prefer Windows Hello. I don't want to scan my fingerprints if I don't have to. I'll stick with facial recognition. But overall, I have nothing negative to say about this machine. It's got everything going for it. I've already said the only thing that I don't like about it, which is its physical profile. What I was really in the market for was something that was going to be an Ultrabook. And for me, an Ultrabook, even though this checks the box in terms of weight, that's the only, I mean, the form factor, if something's going to be this big, I need more I/O. And while, I like the overall design, the fit and finish, build quality is great, it virtually has the same I/O as the HP Spectre that I'm choosing over it, I've chosen, I should say. And by the way, the NVMe drive in here can be upgraded. Memory is soldered, though. The port selections are pretty much the same. The HP just has a micro SD card slot, but that means something to me because the HP is so much smaller than this. In the weight department, not so much smaller, but it feels so much lighter than this because of its size. So part of it's mental and part of it's just the reality. And also, the keyboard on here is not as good as the Spectre. And I may end up doing one more head-to-head on these machines, but keyboard is not as good as the Spectre's, in my opinion, not just in terms of the travel and all of that, but the actual number of dedicated keys. It's more robust on the Spectre, so that's another knock for me personally on this machine. If I have to nitpick, the touchpad's great, so I have no complaints about that. I actually think it's one of the best out there, but that's kind of the whole story with the C940. You're getting best-in-class performance across the board. This is the Mica color. This is one of the few machines besides the HP Spectre, the X360 13T, in the natural silver that does not have fingerprints that make the machine look like you found it in a bathroom. So the C940 is a great machine. I don't think you'll go wrong with it. People have had complaints about the fan spinning up, being noisy. I haven't really had that experience. So yes, people are having that experience, but it's not an epidemic. So it's, I recommend seeing it in store. Any Best Buy should have it on display. I don't think anyone's going to dislike this. And yes, they're both readily available, meaning in the iron color as well. I think the iron's nicer, but I think it shows fingerprints more than this finish. But that may not matter if you prefer the color, right? I mean, that's going to be your priority. But overall, C940 is a great machine. I wouldn't be recommending it to a family member. I wouldn't have struggled with considering it so much if it wasn't. Full review will eventually come. Again, just an update because it's been a while since I put the C940 on the table and in front of the camera. Any questions or comments, feel free to post them, of course, as usual. Feel free to hit that like button, and as usual, also feel free to subscribe. Later.